that you're not hot when you're hot will make the relationship cold. That is on fire. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about conflict. Not conflicts. I mean, conflict. Let's talk about conflict. Yeah. Why do people? I mean, why is there conflict? Why do people fight? Why do people that love themselves, fight? Not necessarily fight, of course, not physical fight. But why is there conflict in relationships? And what do you think?
Yeah, because imperfection exists in both peoples. Yeah, if we were all perfect,
Yeah.
we won't have to fight. It's because we are imperfect. So there's bound to be a show of our imperfection in everything we do. Yeah, and includes even in relationship.
Yeah. So, but even so, maybe.
So two imperfect lovers, two people that love themselves, they are not perfect. If they're in a relationship, they are going to fight because they are not perfect.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're not perfect and I'm not perfect, and we both know that we're not perfect, that I think the problem comes because
Knowing that you're not perfect does not solve your imperfection problem.
no, you're making it sound very personal. What do you want that? Yes, I know I'm not perfect, but why do you just suddenly sound like that? Okay, yes, I get your point.
I was thinking you're trying to excuse the fighters that, okay, you know you are not perfect, so why should you not just love each other? Because love is not enough to deal with the problem of imperfection.
That's when we're talking of love outside the definition of what love really is, which is...
No, we're talking about fighting here.
Yeah, we're talking about fighting. No, you said love is not enough. I'm just trying to say that's talking about love as a feeling, that euphoria, that incitement. And the point I was going to make was, so if we all understand that we are not perfect, then it shouldn't be a problem. But I think where the problem comes in is, I understand that you are not perfect. You understand that I am not perfect.
But we don't see that we ourselves
are not perfect. So because when people fight, they tend to see that the flaw is with the other person most times. So I think that acknowledging our own imperfections, acknowledging the fact that we ourselves are growing as much as our partner is growing, I think that ideologically prepares you to resolve conflict. But now in practical terms, people quarrel about everything really in marriage, like toothpaste, like salt, like the side of the bed to sleep on. Just like like Debbie quarrels about how they wear the pampers or how they do not wear the pampers. All sorts of
that is very true.
all sorts of things. And so it's just interesting. Do you think there's a way people can reduce conflict? How can we reduce conflict in our relationship? Like,
did that question for me?
It's for you now.
Before I started this podcast, they tell that I was a professor in marriage affairs.
I think it's just easier. I have the tendency to talk a lot. It's just easier for me to ask you questions and then, because I mean,
it's growth.
Your wife.
Growth reduce conflicts. Yeah. The more you grow, the less you are. The less you get agitated, the less you get provoked. That's why there's a level of maturity that comes with age. There's a level of maturity
that should come with age.
That should come with experience. So all I'm trying to say in a sense is the more you grow, the more you are less.
That's right. Because a lot of things I used to be picky about. At this point, I'm like, woof, that's just all. That's just all. You don't have time to be picky about so many things again. Like, why didn't you stack the plates properly? Did they wash the plates? Yes. Okay, thank you, and let's move on. Is everybody alike? Yes. And I think we tend to make a mountain out of a molehill sometimes.
And personally, I think what helped me is growth. And that's why I think the more people grow, the less they get to be resentful or be offended. And also perspective, as you grow, your perspective changes or your perspective improves. So I one time I was praying about the conflicts we're having, and God told me that Debbie is doing these things and they are hurting you, but she's not doing them to hurt you. So, and my perspective then was, I was thinking that I was feeling like you were doing those things deliberately to hurt me.
Like I was a thorn.
So, and that's why I say growth. So you see, I've progressed from knowing that my feeling of hurt is not a deliberate action from you. Yeah. So it is hurting me, and it's good to admit that you feel hurt. Pretending that you are hurt, that you are not hurt when you are hurt, for me is more dangerous.
Pretending that you're not hot when you're hot will make the relationship cold. That is on fire. Okay, yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Perspective, growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, acknowledging your imperfection, your own imperfection, and realizing that. I mean, just really letting go, not being.
And most importantly, before we close this podcast, is talking. Yeah, one of the ways to deal with conflicts or to deal with all these issues is talk. Talk. Don't get tired of talking. Don't say, I am always the one talking, he is not talking. I'm the only one talking, she is not talk. It is better that you are expressing yourself. It is better that you are talking, you are letting your partner know what is really hurting you, how you truly feel. And for me, that is vulnerability. That is a sign of sincere, it's a show of sincerity, how much you really want to preserve, make things work, preserve relationship and make things work.
I mean, now that you talked about talking, I remember that Sunday morning where we just had to talk. It was difficult and it wasn't working. It was like we're trying to resolve a conflict just after having Mighty that period, which you must understand that some periods to your marriage are more prone to conflict because of stress on both parties, on either parties. And I think that was one of those periods, settling into the birth of a new child, moving into a new country. Those are some of the periods that can likely trigger that sort of stress, especially when there's no communication. And and I think I was quite frustrated that day, but you said something, you said, at least we are talking, and that's something to be grateful for. It may not look like we've made progress, but in conflict, if we can get to that place where we both sit down and talk, then that's something to be grateful
because relationship begin to degenerate the moment communication breaks down.
They say love, sex, money. Is there no? Sex, money, and communication. I don't even know who brings up all these ideas. Somebody just sit down in their room one day and say 3 things, most important things in marriage. Well, okay, conflict. For me, I think also, like you said, understanding the things your partner does that hurts you, but that they're not necessarily doing it to hurt you. That perspective to change.
You should know that you do not marry a witch. You do not marry the devil. You do not marry an assassin. This person in the first place loves you. So the same thing that you can do to yourself. Sometimes you love yourself. You hurt yourself by your choices, by your laziness, your attitude, your inattitude. So if there are some things you do to yourself that does not show a good sign of self-love. So if you can do these things, then I think it's not bad if you have a little bit of patience with the other person.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's practical. I mean, I don't do this, but just at the back of my head, I just think if we have, why do you have to look at my head if I say at the back of my head? It's not literally at the back of my head, like at the back of my mind. I just did that. At the back of my mind, I just think if people are having conflict, if we're having a conflict, for instance, if there's a breakdown in our communication, it helps to, that physical nearness helps to psychologically resolve the conflict more. So
Yeah.
I'd rather sit down with you like this and say, but it's harder to fight as we're sitting down like this than when we are on different ends of the bed. It's hard to point fingers and say, but you did this, you did that, because I mean, it's just at the back of my head. It's just a theory I'm developing. Maybe somebody can research it. But yeah, I think most of all, understanding that the both of you are on the same team. It is me and you against whatever is trying to come in to get in the way. And it's always me and you against that. It's always me and you together against that. I think that's really important. Nothing else, can come between us, should come between us. We should always have that, that perspective that it's both of us against the world, both of us against our cameraman. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.